Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unique Professions. Well, my guest is all about fashion. Well, why do we love it? Some people, don't know what to wear, whether it could be a date or even just around the house. We are going to explore this and so much more. Natalie, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No worries. Now, Natalie, first question is, you're a personal stylist.
I am.
What does that entail for you?
So being a personal stylist for me is really all about empowering my clients and helping them figure out, it's problem solving really, helping them work out what the gap is between what their lifestyle is and what they like and clothing options and sort of bridging that gap and helping them present in the best possible version of themselves to the outside world.
Excellent. Now, when you've got the other F word,
Mhm.
which is your business,
Mhm.
I absolutely love the name, fantastic stuff. Now, how did you go from starting that or starting your client base and then building it to the as big as it is now?
Where it is now. So really the beauty of social media helped me so much. I did a course, I went to Melbourne, it was like coming up to maybe 6.5, 7 years ago now to study personal styling. And as part of the sort of qualification of the course, you've got to work with some clients pro bono to develop your skill set and, put what you've learned into practice. So I did that and along the way took photos of my clients and I started an Instagram account. I shared those 3 pro bono client experiences, shared the Instagram account as you do to your friends and family and
Yep.
say, I've started this, would you mind following, et cetera, et cetera. And then it organically grew. My friends followed, they shared with their friends followed, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm not actually sure exactly how long it was between sort of working with the free clients to booking my first client, but it wasn't long. And it was a friend of a friend who was struggling in the space of she was a new mum and really struggling to dress. Anyway, she booked me, worked with her, and then I shared those results on social media or like her experience on social media. And then it just organically kind of snowballed effectively. And yeah, that's really where I would say now I get a lot of clients that are referrals from friends. But certainly in the earlier days, it was just all from social media. People put the faith in what they saw online and in me and booked me that way. So yeah, it was really great actually.
Excellent. And it's just going back to that, when did you first fall in love with fashion? Was it something in your childhood? Yeah, because a lot of people, young girls love their fashion and then, want to follow that into a career. But where did that love come from?
Well, I don't know I don't have like a specific like event or occurrence I can pinpoint, but I have always, I suppose, been interested in what I wear and what other people wear. And I used to make jewelry. So I've always been, I suppose, like a bit creative and like to
Yep.
sort of do creative things. And for quite a few years, I had a little online jewelry business, again, just which grew via social media. Gotta love Instagram for that. And I looked into doing a personal styling course or a styling course whilst I was making jewelry because I thought it would help develop, sort of the editorial
Yep.
side of jewelry and loaning it out and just as to study something that like interests me. But I was very focused on the jewelry. And then whilst doing the course, I had, I guess, like a bit of a light bulb moment where I thought, oh, wow, this could be something that I could maybe pursue completely separate to the jewelry. So it sort of took off on its own tangent, a bit unexpectedly, really.
So, when I know there are a few other different personal styles. It is a growing business, and there are a few around.
Mhm.
I won't name names. I won't name.
Please don't.
I won't name your competitors. It's not why I'm here. But how do you try and stand out amongst the crowd?
Oh, what a great question. I actually don't know that I really do. I think I just sort of do my own thing. The interesting thing about personal styling, I suppose, using social media to promote yourself is that you're sharing, like I'm sharing my own specific personal style when I share outfit photos and things like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to make a client look like me or
Yep.
dress a client as I would dress myself, because it all comes down to body shape and preferences and lifestyle. And so it's interesting because people often choose you based on how they see you present yourself, but
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean that that's how
That's how it's going to work.
yeah, but I guess it's that taste level that they trust. And they think, well, if she, there's something in her, that's something about her style that resonates with me and that I would like to see emulated in my own personal style without being a copy paste version of myself. So I guess to answer your question, I went off on a tangent. Sorry.
That's all right.
I just kind of do my own thing and share what I like to share and share my outfits. And I feel like the people who I'm going to vibe with and gel with on a personal level, because it is very personal, you do spend a lot of time with people. I think that they work out, like my clients sort of suss me out before engaging me and decide that we would be a good fit. And then, so I feel like I just attract people who I'm going to vibe with.
Yeah.
Organically, really.
Yeah, and like when you said, some people want to, look at you and look at your photos, and they want to be like you almost or dress like you. How do you balance that?
Navigate. Well, if there's certain things that I wear that someone wants to see themselves in, finding the version of that suits their body and their lifestyle, like perfect. Sometimes it might be, if it's someone that has a very similar set of likes and dislikes to myself, it might be the exact sort of same things that work for me that work for them. Sometimes it's a bit of a tweak in terms of fabrics I like to wear or shapes on their body. But totally happy to, if someone wants to have the exact same version of everything I have, that's fine by me. Doesn't happen often, to be honest.
No.
Or really at all.
Now, recently you did a masterclass.
Yes, I did.
Yes. Can you tell me what that actually entailed?
That was a great event that I did in July last year. I hosted 50 women. It was a ticketed event and chatted with the women about my philosophies and approach to personal styling, what it is that I discuss with all my clients. Obviously in a one-on-one session, it's a much more, one-on-one, bespoke sort of really specific chat. But we covered, my approach, philosophies, things that I think are sort of the backbone of the success or failure of, nailing your personal style. And we also covered a few other things about, some key wardrobe pieces to shop for, how to approach your own wardrobe audit. It was a really great group, really loved the group of women, and I always invite a lot of questions during those kinds of sessions. So it was just a chat of mostly 50 women that didn't really know each other, but kind of, we're just chatting about all things style and, raising some of those burning questions I've had.
What is one of your philosophies?
So I think the success of sort of dressing well is not really about, it is about the clothing, but it's more about understanding your body and your likes and dislikes. And I think understanding proportion and the shapes of clothing, how they sit on the body, is really important, because you can have a lot of separate pieces that maybe look amazing on the hanger, and then when you go to combine them, you're like, well, that hasn't quite worked out the way I thought it would. And so I think there's a specific sort of balance that needs to occur in shape, proportion, fit, fabric, all those kinds of things, and a sort of energy of clothes as well.
Yeah, and I want to know your client base. Is it mostly female?
Yeah, mostly female. I would say probably 95% female.
Yeah, and what kind of age demographic are you looking at, roughly?
Roughly women in their 20s to, I would say, 50s, sort of that age bracket.
Yep.
So it's pretty broad, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because, people women, look out for this kind of personal styling, personal shopping, more than men, I would say. I wonder why, in your opinion, why that might be.
I think...
Is it to do with image?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more pressure on women from themselves and just society in general to keep up appearances that men just aren't subject to. Yeah. Well, just the way society is, I think, in part. And look, a large number of the clients that I have are, women, and through a woman's life, maybe this is generalization, but more so than a man, I think that women sort of, their bodies and lifestyles change because of any number of outside factors. Could be kids, like just anything,
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
that happens
yep.
to your life. And so it's harder for women to, I guess, like keep up
Mhm.
when you've got all these outside factors and pressures that are changing things for you around you,
Yep.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just harder for women, I think. And
Yeah.
so they reach out more.
And unfortunately, in our society, I do agree with you, women are judged,
Yes.
yeah, very
Absolutely.
unfairly. It's all about the looks, you know.
And like women are really hard on
Yeah.
themselves. But we like to, all people, male, female, regardless of age, the one thing that I could say consistently is like, it's not really about, I don't think personal styling for me, it's not about vanity. I
Yeah.
think it's, like I said earlier, like problem solving. So if you've got like, you lead a certain lifestyle and your wardrobe doesn't reflect or isn't conducive to allowing you to perform in that lifestyle, and you're not feeling good about what you have as wardrobe options and how you're presenting to the world, it's really bridging that gap and it's problem solving between one and the other. And so regardless of like male, female or age gap, once that problem is solved,
Mhm.
people feel a real sense of relief
Yeah.
and like pride
Mhm.
in being able to, pull something from their wardrobe that they know is going to be really suitable for what they're doing on any given day.
I also suppose a lot of it is to instill self-confidence as well. So how do you build that kind of confidence in one of your sessions?
Well, like I said, giving my clients those sort of tools and that understanding of that philosophy around how to curate items and what to look for and how when you've got certain items, when you put them on the body, they do or don't work.
Yep.
So giving them the knowledge and the philosophy and I suppose the basis of the understanding, and then showing them those items that I guess support that philosophy, and then showing them those items that support that philosophy on their body.
Yep. And
So it's like a 3-step
yeah.
process.
And when a client comes to you, let's just say you and I had a session, yeah, and we do a session, you pick out, you say, oh, this is really good, and then I wear them and I'm feeling good, feeling fantastic. Do you offer like a service where you check up, let's say 2 or 3 months time and see how you're going with those sort of wardrobe fits?
I don't offer a formal, I guess, like service
Yeah.
around a check-in, but I'm always in touch with my clients. When I finish up a session with a client, I say like, my DMs on Instagram, my email, they often have time to have my phone number,
Yep.
always open, send me a message, send me a question. I love receiving updates from clients.
Yep.
Some people I hear from constantly, some
Yep.
people I never hear from again, because that's just human nature. Some
Yeah, it
people
does,
are
yeah.
happy to, do their own thing. But yeah, I often have like repeat clients and people who just enjoy the efficiency of shopping together and sort of will do a 6 monthly kind of top up as the seasons change.
Yep.
But yeah, I like to keep in touch with people. And I've always got, my email and DMs and stuff open to answer questions. And whether it's, I always say to people, even if we haven't spoken in like 5 months, I'm happy for you to send me a message. And if I can help, I will help.
Yeah, excellent. You're probably not going to give me this secret, but hey, I'll give it a go, Ron. Do you have places, we are in Perth, West Australia. Do you have places that are your go-to places to get your clothes?
Specifically?
Yeah, specifically.
This is one of the number one questions that
Yeah.
I always ask.
Yep.
And I guess like the answer is there's no like real secret. I do tend to shop, if I'm doing a client shopping session, I tend to shop at Karrinyup
Yep.
because of the facility and the fact that we can be really time efficient with the number of stores and the
Yep.
range of stores on offer. So, if you've got 4 hours, you don't have to get in the car and drive between places.
Yeah.
You've got a broad range of options under one roof. So I do find going to that shopping centre. But in terms of certain stores, there's some stores that I think do certain things better than others. So as an example, to give you a name, I think like Country Road and
Right.
Witchery and Uniqlo, let's say those three, they do like great basics. So, plain T-shirts or tanks or linen shirts as examples, you can find at different price points most of the year across those 3 stores. So, and at a good quality for what the price is. So they would be places that I would check if one of those sort of items was on my client's shopping list. But it will always come down to preference of the client.
Yeah.
So some people might love, the price point at Witchery versus at Uniqlo is quite different, but a client might just be absolutely obsessed and adore the fit of something at Witchery and be happy to pay $20 or $30 more for than they would for the Uniqlo equivalent because it just doesn't suit their lifestyle. Sometimes the Uniqlo version of the option is more suitable. So there's never
never one size fits all.
No, and retailers change, right?
Yeah.
So retailers change their offering, they change their manufacturing, they change their sizing, they change their production methods, all of which I have no insight into. So
Yeah, I know.
I could never say hand on heart, you should forever go into this store and you'll be able to find this item and it'll be perfect.
Yeah, I have that problem too because I'm one of those people that's in between sizes,
Right.
depending on what manufacturer.
Yes.
And I've actually got really small feet as well.
Right.
And I'm actually a size 6 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But there's two good things about that. There's a few pros and cons. The cons are like Nike, all those kinds of big brands. They do not have shoes of that size.
Right.
I've never been able to get one of that size. The benefit is I can get fairly cheap shoes, but note the word cheap. They don't last.
Yes.
I will buy.
Turning through.
I've yesterday I had to go buy some new shoes, and I only had that last pair 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, before they fell apart. So as like you said, you don't know the ins and outs of the manufacturers. But do you think that is a ploy, or obviously it's a bit of a ploy, for them to sell more items and sell more things?
Yeah, I think it's hard because you don't want to have their brand reputations on the line if they're making things that aren't standing the test of time, and people won't want to spend the money. But at the same time, yeah, they want repeat customers, right? So it's like with Apple. I feel like your iPhone dies at a certain point and you're forced / encouraged to upgrade to the next model. And, they're not built to last forever. So, and I guess clothing's the same.
Now, I was wondering, as a personal stylist, is there any misconceptions about your
Yes, I don't think. Well, maybe not misconception, but I don't think people necessarily. It's a super fun profession. There's a lot of shopping. There's a lot of, I suppose, frivolity to it. I don't think people necessarily anticipate that it can be as maybe deep / meaningful as well, or that it can be as emotional or stir up as many feelings in people. Because it is all about confidence and how people present and helping people feel good. So I think they just think it's kind of oh, you're just shopping, and we are just shopping, but it's more than that. And I take it very, very seriously. And spending other people's money effectively is a big responsibility. And so I guess maybe the misconception is that maybe I don't attach as much responsibility to it as I do, because I do attach a lot of responsibility to my role and I take it very seriously. So it's heaps of fun, but very serious too.
I will just mention we have a little one in the house today. Natalie is just had a baby.
Yep.
And so that's what the noise you can hear is, in case you were just wondering.
In case you're wondering what that whimpering is, it's my 6-week-old baby.
There you go.
Didn't want to miss out on all the fun.
No, of course not. All right, going on the misconceptions. I might have even had one myself before I knew, many years ago, before I knew what a personal stylist was, personal shopper. And it kind of goes into this question as well. Some people may think that the personal styling, personal shopping is for people who just, want to look good on Instagram and, they just want to, post photos. Have you ever had that kind of, negative kind of
I think that's a pretty common misconception. Yep, that it's just look, I've never had a client or someone who is, an Instagram content creator or anything like that. Those people are getting free clothes thrown at them and, they're right to dress themselves. My clients are really people truly it's dressing for the everyday that people struggle. So, if someone's got a red carpet, I mean, do we have red carpets here? But, a formal event like a wedding or something, red carpet or whatever, something that's a bit fancier. People usually are pretty comfortable for the most part dressing for that because there's sort of a prescribed notion of what you would wear to something like that. You know, you wear a certain dress or heels and carry a certain type of bag. If you're doing something really casual, there's also people can usually nail that, or if they're just hanging out at home and not too phased. It's the in-between where most of life happens, like the weekends or catching up with girlfriends or going out on a date night or professionally to the workplace where you do 90% of your living that people really struggle to dress themselves. So it's really in the day-to-day that I feel like my clients are reaching out to say, hey, can you give me a hand with,
Yep.
as opposed to the, you know, the fancy events.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, we're reaching into summer. In fact, we are in summer right now. Today in Perth, it's a lovely 41 degrees. Fabulous. Now, do you have any summer tips?
I think fabric is
Yep.
my number one tip. Breathable fabrics are your best friend in summer. So I personally tend to avoid anything synthetic, those types of fabrics, so polyester, acrylic, things like that. Those fabrics don't breathe, and you'll find that heat gets trapped in your body, and then you'll likely perspire more and just feel less comfortable. So breathable fabrics, so cotton, linen, things like that. The downside of those types of fabrics is they do need a little bit more care, I suppose, in terms of like a quick iron. You know, if a lot of people don't, and that sort of lived in look
Yep.
works as well. But that is, I suppose, just one little thing. Whereas, you know, your polyesters, because they've got, I guess, an element of like plastic effectively in them, they tend to like look lovely straight out of the washing machine. But yeah, so breathable fabrics are going to be your best friend for keeping cool, just to help the airflow and the heat from your body leave your body, move through the fabric and go out, rather than be trapped on your body underneath your clothing.
Are there any fashion icons that you actually looked up to?
Princess Diana.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She's way ahead of her time.
She was, absolutely.
Stunning, beautiful woman. And so she's one. Who else these days?
Yep.
Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, Elizabeth Banks, yep. Okay, yep.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks. Yeah, love her, particularly her red carpet style, which isn't my lifestyle. I'm not on red carpets, but I feel like she is always reinventing herself. She does different things at different events, and I think she always looks really interesting and creative. So yeah, there are a couple Princess Diana will always be
Number one.
Yeah, number one for me. Yeah.
Yep. I think for a lot of people, she was yes, she was definitely a style icon.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful woman.
Yeah. Let's just say I reach out to you or a woman reaches out to you on Instagram and says, hey, I would like you to do a session with you. How does that contact start, and how do you plan that process?
So people will often send me inquiries. I have my packages listed on my website in terms of what I offer.
Yep.
So people like to say, I'm interested in doing either a wardrobe order or a wardrobe order and shopping session. And we'll chat about, always invite any questions, and happy to chat about what's involved in the process, just so people are comfortable and sure that it's going to be suitable for them. And then following that, I will basically just, I'll check if weekdays or weekends maybe are more suitable for them. And then I'll throw some dates out, and they'll yay or nay it, and we'll go back and forth on date until we lock things in.
Yep.
If I'm doing a wardrobe order and shop with a client, oh, you don't like that, Cove? No. If we're doing a wardrobe order and shop with a client, we usually have like a week or two between the two sessions.
Yep.
Just to give some time to it's a lot of contact time in a short period of time to do back to back, like day after day. So yeah, a week or two apart, we book some dates in. I send through a booking form because I take a deposit to secure the dates, and that's it. Then they're in my diary, and then I'm theirs.
Yeah. I will mention the website just in case everyone misses it. It is theotherfword.com.au.
That's it.
Uh-huh. All right. What do you love most about your profession?
Definitely seeing the improvement in people's confidence, for sure. Having someone send me a message. I used to cry like constantly after, good tears, but almost every styling session when I first started, I would come home and I would debrief to my husband, and I would just like have tears in my eyes, because it just having people say that you've helped improve their confidence it feels really fulfilling. Sounds cheesy to say, but it's very, very, very fulfilling. And I used to be an accountant. That was what I studied, and that was what my formal qualification was in. And while that was a great profession, I wouldn't say it gave me like warm, fuzzy kind of feelings on the day to day. So this is quite different, and have people like literally express their gratitude to you because you've helped them see themselves in a light that they haven't been able to see themselves in, and then they're approaching their days more confidently. There is literally nothing like it. And, playing with clothes and is just a great sort of side byproduct of that. But certainly helping people.
What is the opposite end of that spectrum? What is the downside or some of the cons of your profession?
Oh, wow. I don't know that this isn't necessarily specific to the profession, but maybe just working for myself. It's always that juggle, being a mum and now a mum to 2 babies, and just never quite feeling like I'm doing enough. Always wishing that I could do more. I have a type A personality, and I like to kind of be achieving lots, and there's only so much you can do, whether it's before I had babies or since I've had babies. Just working for yourself, there's always I always feel like I'm like treading water, and I'm never necessarily sort of like achieving everything that I want to achieve. But I think that's pretty common of all small business owners. Something I've just learned to sort of accept, and you prioritize the most important tasks and accept that you're not going to do it all every day. So but in terms of my specific profession, I literally can't think of anything negative. I love it all.
How do people get in contact with you if they have been listening to today's episode and they've been interested? How do they go about contacting you?
Best way, I guess, would be to head to my website, which you mentioned earlier, is fword.com.au, and have a browse on there. You can read a little bit about me and the styling sessions, and read some Google reviews, see what other people have had to say about having a styling session, see what packages are on offer, and then I've got a contact page via the website. You can fill in a form there and let me know what sort of your area of interest inquiry is, and I try and get back to emails within 24 to 48 hours, and happy to chat.
This is my final question. In 5 to 10 years' time, how would you like to see the other work grow? How do you like to see yourself grow as a person, as a stylist as well? So there's 3 things there.
Oh, wow. This is a big question. So in 5 to 10 years, if I could still be sustaining the same level of work that I have been, well, I guess for wherever my lifestyle is at, whatever my life permits at that point, that's suitable, working as much or as little that I would like to be, and sort of not like choosing my own hours, but I suppose like to a degree being able to sort of pick and choose work and being as busy or as not busy as I'd like to be would be the goal in terms of work. At this point, I'm not looking to like expand or bring other people on. I'm happy being sort of like a one-man show and, just working for myself under my own name, but being busy. As a person, oh wow, this is like lots and lots and lots of growth probably required, but trying to be a kinder person to myself, to people around me, always demonstrating like empathy where I can and consideration for other people, and towards myself, continuing to do that. And as a stylist, continuing to develop like good relationships with people. I'd love to do some brand work, work with some like shopping centres, and just the more I work with people, the more exposure I get to different lifestyles, like I said, like areas of people's lives and problems, and those problems that we're trying to like resolve. So I feel like the more exposure I have to more and more clients, the better my skills become, and the more more I know how to tackle different kind of areas that come up, and just problem solve in an easier way, more efficiently going forward. So and just continue to like make people happy ultimately.
And you also have another profession as well, being a mum.
Yes.
So I hope that all goes well for you.
Thank you.
I hope thank you so much for coming in today. It was
Thank
an
you for
absolute
having
pleasure.
me. Thank you for being so accommodating with Baby Cove as well.
Yeah, no
Was
worries.
not having it today, but
Hey, you can't pick them all.
no, it's been really lovely to chat with you. Really appreciate it.